would like to call the Public Work and Utility Committee to order on this March 26, 2018. May I have a roll call, please?
Chairperson Newell.
Present.
Vice Chairperson Gata.
Present.
Trustee Palafis. Trustee Mills.
Present.
Trustee Stanton.
Present.
Trustee Arnett.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Okay, we have a quorum. The next item would be the approval of minutes from February 26, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any corrections, deletions? Yeah, it is. Does it sound like it's not? Okay, no, yeah, it's on.
That's on.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry if someone couldn't hear me. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Under new business today, we have 9 items. The first item being request approval of change order number 1 to the contract with Lorig Construction Company of Des Plaines, Illinois, for the Hoffman Boulevard over Canadian National Railroad Superstructure Repairs Project in an amount of $22,772 for a total not to exceed $285,000, $301.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions? Seeing none. Is there anything that we need to add, Mr. Neville? Not at this time?
Not at this time.
I did notice that they kind of charge a lot of money for a flagger.
Oh, yeah. We actually have to pay, Public Works pays that occasionally when we have graffiti and we need to do graffiti removal on the bridge. The price went up significantly when Canadian National took over, so it's like $1,000 a day for a guy to sit there with the flags.
That's what I was
I'm
noticing.
not gonna get hit by a train.
So sad. Okay, seeing no further questions, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 2, request authorization to extend the 2017 contract for 2018 roadway pavement markings program to Preform Traffic Control Systems Ltd. out of Elk Grove, Illinois, at a total cost not to exceed $57,000.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Trustee Stanton?
Joe, I have a question. Is there a warranty for the length the paint is expected to last on the pavement?
I don't think so. I think that we have a spec that they have to use a certain type of paint, and there's a life expectancy expected on that paint, and we inspect it after they put it down. What we did do last year, we actually purchased a hand striper in-house for about $3,500. Our plan is we're going to do the crosswalks and stop bars in-house and keep the truck work with the company. So we're not paying those guys to do the short work that we can do. And the money that we spend is going to be spent on doing the line work. So we're hoping that we can get a 3 to 4 year rotation for the whole town. So I know they'll last, the line should last 3 years. A lot of it depends on the traffic on the road, how much traffic goes over it.
Yeah, I've been noticing that some of our lines, excuse me, are not lasting as long as I would like them to last. It's like a year and all of a sudden they seem to be gone.
Yeah. We're running into the lineage in the village is increasing, and then we have the bike lanes and we have a lot of other additional things that we have to stripe now that we didn't necessarily have to before. So in order to kind of compensate for that, we purchased a striper on our own to do some in-house striping last year. So we're hoping this will be the first year that we're able to get through and do as many crosswalks and stop bars as we can this year, and see how far we get with it.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other questions, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 3, request authorization to extend 2017 contract for 2018 contracted weed control and fertilization for various village-owned sites and rights-of-way to True Green out of Carpentersville, Illinois, which is the low bid, in an amount not to exceed $15,120.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. No questions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 4, request authorization to award 2018 contract for landscape maintenance services for A and B locations, village-owned sites, and state county rights-of-way to V. Cardenas out of East Dundee, Illinois, in an amount not to exceed $75,203.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Trustee Stanton?
We lost our original landscaper, right?
We did.
How much was that contract supposed to be for this year before they reneged?
I don't have the old bid numbers. Funny though, the contract that said they couldn't do it, they rebid.
Yeah.
There's significantly more. So as far as the difference goes between the old one and this one, I'll have to get back to you. I can get back to you on that.
Okay.
I can pull out the old bid tab and take a look. I don't think it's significantly more. There's a lot of landscapers, and landscaping is pretty cutthroat. So a lot of times we have these guys come in and we don't know how they're making money, and sometimes they cancel, from one year to the next. So it's not surprising to see it once in a while.
Well, hopefully it doesn't happen this time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other questions, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 5, request authorization to extend 2017 contract for 2018 concrete maintenance restoration to Mondi Construction Incorporated out of West Chicago, Illinois, which is the low bid, at a unit price of $5.85 per square foot for sidewalk, $22.50 per lineal foot for curb replacements, and $52 per square yard for driveway apron replacements in an amount not to exceed $110,000.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and then seeing no questions, all in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 6, request authorization to extend the 2017 contract for 2018 sidewalk raising/mudjacking program to Raise Right of Carroll Stream, Illinois, which is the low bid, at a unit price of $2 per square foot for sidewalk in an amount not to exceed $40,000.
So moved.
Second.
No questions. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 7, request authorization to award contract for purchase of 36 complete Mueller fire hydrants to Zybel Water Service Products Incorporated out of Elk Grove Village, Illinois, which is the low bid, in an amount not to exceed $105,058.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 8, request acceptance of the Department of Public Works monthly report.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Anything to add, Mr. Neville?
Nothing to add.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 9, request acceptance of the Department of Development Services monthly engineering report of the Transportation and Engineering Division.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, and I don't see him here, so nothing to add. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. President's report?
Yeah, a few things. Wednesday, I participated in the Legislative Committee in the Northwest Municipal Conference and went to the Chamber of Business after hours of Poplar Creek Entertainment area, the old bowling alley, which is a lot more than bowling now. They did quite a job of remodeling it. They have great spaces for meetings and events, so I think people ought to check it out. They did a really wonderful job. On Thursday, I chaired the Transportation Committee meeting of the Northwest Municipal Conference. And Sunday evening, Trustee Gate and I went to the Abbott Hut Media USA online newspaper launch at Thumbka Indian Restaurant for an online Indian newspaper. It'll also be published and also have a channel. So hopefully they'll make a great success of it. A couple other things going on this week. We have Wine Wednesday at First Place Sports Bar and Grill at 1736 West Algonquin Road. That's from 5:30 to 7:30. And on Saturday, the Park District has 3 separate Easter egg hunts in all sections of town. The first one is at Fabrini Park on Glen Lake, 1704 Glen Lake, and that's from 8:15 to 8:45 a.m., followed by Pine Park at 750 Charleston, up by Thomas Jefferson School. That's from 9:30 to 10. And then out west at Cannon Crossing at 1675 Nicholson, and that was from 10:45 to 11:15 a.m. So if you have any little ones that want to meet the Easter Bunny and get a little bit of loot, it'd be a good thing to go to. That's all I got.
Thank you very much. And we have nothing under other. Nothing in items in review. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
The motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays. Motion passed. We're adjourned.
Yes, I'd like to call the Public Health and Safety Committee to order March 26, 2018. May I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Gata.
Present.
Vice Chairman Palafis. Trustee Newell.
Present.
Trustee Mills.
Present.
Trustee Stanton.
Present.
Trustee Arnett.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Thank you, and we have a quorum. Approval of the minutes of February 26, 2018.
So moved.
Second?
Any additions, corrections? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Under new business, we have 7 items. Item number 1, request authorization to waive bidding and purchase 69 MSA G1 fire service self-contained breathing apparatus for Air One Equipment Incorporated, South Elgin, Illinois, in an amount of $513,185.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Chief, what would you like to add to that?
The request includes a purchase of 69 complete CVA units from Air One. The current existing equipment that we have is reaching its end of life cycle at the end of this year. The bottles start to expire in September. That equipment was purchased in 2003 using FEMA grant funding. The existing equipment, knowing that it was coming up to its end of life, we've applied for 3 grants over the last 3 years. The request was put in the CIP budget in 2017. It was moved to 2018, hoping that we would get grant funding, which we did not. So that brings us here to today. The equipment requested, we had convened a committee of 13 members of the department back in May of 17, who did a very thorough research and evaluated 4 different vendors that supplied to information to us on a request. We evaluated many different scenarios. We looked at, when we went to do the research on the equipment, we looked at familiarization of the equipment. We used a maze to actually test the equipment in a controlled environment, and we also used live burn training to get to that final recommendation of the MSA brand.
Now, what do you do with the old bottles?
The old bottles are not serviceable, so they actually have to be destroyed. They cannot be reused. They have hit their end of life. They've been hydro-tested. They've been used since 2003, and according to current DOT standards, they're no longer serviceable.
Very good. Any questions from the board? Trustee Mills?
Does this replace all of our current equipment?
Yes, it does.
Okay. All right, and it's amazing the difference in price, though, between what you got here and what Houston.
Yes,
That's
yeah, it was,
amazing.
we did a lot of research to make sure that our prices were as the best price that we could get. And looking at what our neighbors paid and tried to find different sources to find better pricing. There was quite a difference, and I think we're about as good
Looks
as
like
we're
you
gonna
did
get.
a very complete job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Chief. Also, number 2, request approval of ordinance declaring Bush Truck 23 as surplus and authorizing the sale of the apparatus to the highest bidder.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second, and what can you enlighten us on that, Chief?
The current brush truck's a 2003 Ford F-550 four-wheel drive chassis. It's built with a Pierce Manufacturing wildland firefighting setup. The vehicle was scheduled for replacement in 2019 in CIP. We purchased the vehicle in 2003, again using FEMA grant funding. At that time, we spent $175,000 on the vehicle. The use of a brush truck in our purposes is primarily for off-road use in less than favorable conditions, where we need a vehicle that's nimble, that can get through the different off-road conditions that we experience. The vehicle that we have, now that we have had this vehicle this long and we've learned over time, the vehicle's too heavy, it's too long, and not very nimble in those off-road conditions. Unfortunately, we've got a few pictures to show its lack of being nimble as it was being towed out of a couple different places. So what we're requesting to do at this time is to actually declare that vehicle surplus. We know what the value is based on a broker coming in and giving us an assessment. The replacement vehicle cost and the cost of the current brush truck are about equal right now, and we're trying to take advantage of that opportunity by selling that vehicle now, using those funds to buy the replacement, and rather than waiting another year and those cost benefits starting to go the opposite direction.
Okay. So this is more like a four-wheeler or whatever they call them?
What we're looking to do now is to go to just a four-wheel drive pickup,
All right.
much shorter, much lighter, and using a true brush truck slide-in unit, much smaller in size, much more versatile.
At least you won't have to tow it out when it gets stuck in mud.
That's the goal,
Any
yes.
questions from the board? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Chief. Well, you know what, let's go to number 7, since you're sitting right there. Request acceptance of the Fire Department monthly report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Anything else that you want to add to that, Chief?
The only thing I would just like to recognize a couple firefighters who are here tonight. They are two of the members that actually were involved in the research for the SCBA equipment.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from Trustee Stanton?
Chief, you got for February's loss in Angoulême, it looks like $100, and I think it's supposed to be $100,000 damage, right?
I will double check that and correct it, but that does sound correct. It should have been 100,000. Yep, I will correct that typo, thank you.
All right.
Anything else from the board? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Chief. Number 3, this one we have, I have requested this for Dr. Savidra to inform especially the audience that listens to this of all the different benefits that the Village of Hoffman Estates offers to the residents. And so Dr. Savidra was nice enough to say that she would come up. I don't see her.
She's right there in front of you.
You know why? I was looking all the way in the
The chair
back.
doesn't go up anymore.
I thought you were going to stand over there, right? Do you prefer? Yes, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you so much. I'm going to briefly just share some services, and if there's any input from the board on our moving forward with publicizing some of our services using social media and the Citizen and the HETV and the Village website, certainly are open to that. So Health and Human Services offers low-cost physical and mental health services for the community, and we provide therapy services on the mental health side, both individual, couple, and family, anyone age 3 on up. All of our services are on a sliding scale, so for mental health, it goes as low as $5, ranging up to $70. And we use traditional talk therapy, play therapy, sand tray therapy, and art therapy. We also do psychological testing at a low cost for those that may need to clarify an academic or cognitive issue that will be going on. On our physical health side, we provide immunizations for infants, adolescents, children, and adults. We also do vision and hearing in our local preschools and daycare centers and provide preventative screening, such as glucose, hemoglobin, cholesterol checks, all at affordable rates. We do education and outreach, so we host local workshops, both here at the village and at different sites. We do a take charge of your health class for those that have chronic health conditions that our nurses run, as well as school groups in John Muir, where we teach 4th through 6th graders about social emotional health and well-being. On the assistance side of our department, we have a lending closet that lends out wheelchairs, canes, crutches, and walkers. We have a medication and sharps recycling program, and then also, finally, an emergency assistance program, where if someone is facing homelessness or the inability to pay rent or a utility bill, we will help through our Salvation Army program, where we are a satellite site, and we can provide some financial assistance for that, as well as any crisis that happens in the community. Our therapists or nurses go out as needed, and that is, we're called on for whatever might be needed. So, thank you.
Boy, that was quick.
That was quick. I
Right.
talk fast.
On the equipment, like wheelchairs or crutches or whatever you call them and so forth, Is there any length of time that the individual can have that, or?
We do lend out, the wheelchairs have a $50 deposit, which we return for 8 weeks, and if someone needs it beyond that, we will extend that as well.
Very good. Any questions from the board? Trustee Stanton?
For medical purposes, do we refer some of these people to doctors then, if we can't help them?
Absolutely. Our nurses have encountered people who are right on the border of diabetic, or if their blood pressure is too high, we will make sure that we set them up either with their primary care physician, or if they don't have access to medical services, we'll set them up with another agency where they can be seen by a physician.
In the last few weeks, there's been a lot of discussion about mental health issues. Do we have enough psychologists on staff for their needs that we have here?
There's never enough psychologists on staff. We have currently 2 full-time psychologists, 3 part-time who are with us 1 day a week, and then we have the training program, which is psychologists in training. They're typically master's level clinicians who are finishing up their doctorates, and so we do have 7 students.
Okay, I also read an article, I don't know if it was in the Herald or the Tribune just this last weekend, that the psychiatrists in this nation are dwindling. Do we have a problem with psychologists as well? Are we getting less psychologists now than we used to?
Psychology is still okay and booming. Psychiatry is really the area that it's hard to find someone that can provide that medication piece.
Okay, thank you.
And Trustee Mills?
Having been in the village for many years, we've made use of various services that you've offered, and your department's always done a great job and are a true asset to our village. Probably be good if I'm sure that we've done various aspects of your department on the Hoffman Estates channel, on the monthly programs, and that might be nice to highlight certain aspects each month, like kind of zero in on one department each month, or in our newsletter too, just to offer a little glimpse of what, because there are a lot of good things out there that people probably aren't aware of and that they can make use of.
Right, and we've been very fortunate this past month. We've been highlighted on the Heart of Hoffman, so that's been running, but that is a wonderful idea.
And I'm sure you're doing a lot with the new resource center too, next to the high school.
Yes,
Okay, but thanks again for all you do.
thank you.
And that was kind of the intent of this, Trustee Mills, was to allow Monica to
Right.
talk about the services they have. And then if you look at the pink sheet, we're going to make more of an effort over the next few months to put things on HETV, to put things onto the website and the newsletter, just to try and advertise those services a little bit better.
That's good. Thanks.
Very good. Anything else from the board? Dr. Savija, thank you very much for coming and enlightening us.
Thank you.
And have a happy Easter. Okay, where are we? Number 4, request acceptance of the Police Department monthly report.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Chief, what would you like to add? Nothing to add, but I do. I would like to read a letter from a gal that was helped. This is on February 9th. Approximately 5:50 p.m., I was traveling westbound on Route 72 by myself to meet friends at South Barrington. The roads were plowed, but here were still snow-covered and heavy slush. I was in the left lane and wanted to change into the right lane. As I did, I must have caught snow or ice because I began to fishtail and then start to spin. I lost control of my Mustang. This never happened to me before, and I was terrified. I saw white clouds of snow on my windshield, and I was so scared I was going to end up on the other side of Route 72 into oncoming traffic and create an awful accident. By the grace of God, I loaded. By the way, this is handwritten. So I landed in the ditch that separates Route 72 on each side. I was so frazzled, I didn't call the police, but within a short amount of time, Officer, and I hope I pronounce this right, Keurig? Chief? Keurig? Anyways, arrived. He said that he was on his way to a call, but stopped when he saw the car in the ditch. He waited there with me until another officer arrived. I'm writing this to say thank you to Officer Surik for waiting with me because nobody can say what could have happened if he left. I was alone, stranded in a ditch, while Officer Surik waited with me. There was no chance for a passenger to pretend like they were wanted to help me, when really they had no intention because they could see that I was all by myself. Officer Kirk also had his red and blue lights on to make sure that the cars on the road stayed clear of my situation, preventing any other accidents. I'm sure he did not have to stay, but he chose to. I really appreciate that, and I feel it should go to notice. Thank you, Vida. That's another great thing for the police department. In Hoffman Estates, we get quite a few of these, right? And yes, and that's a credit to you and the staff for it. Any questions from up here? Yes. Karen Knowles?
Just want to send congratulations to Detective Fernandez on his Investigator of the Year award from MCAT. That's great. Thanks.
Very good. Anything else? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Chief. Number 5, request acceptance of the Health Human Services Monthly Report.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Dr. Savija, did you want to add anything else to this? I kind of figured that. Any questions from the board? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Request number 6, acceptance Emergency Management Coordinator Monthly Report.
So,
I have a motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. President's report?
Nothing else, Mr. Chair?
Thank you. Nothing in other, nothing in items in review. Looking for someone for a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Second.
Questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you.
All righty. I'd like to call the Finance Committee to order for March 26, 2018. May I have a roll call, please?
Chairperson Palafis, Vice Chairperson Newell,
Present.
Trustee Gata,
Present.
Trustee Mills,
Present.
Trustee Stanton.
Present.
Trustee Arnett. Present. Mayor McLeod.
Present.
We have a quorum. The next item would be approval of minutes from February 26, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Did anybody notice any corrections, deletions? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Under new business, we have 5 items. Item number 1 is recommend adoption of an ordinance reserving the village's volume cap.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Rachel, do you have anything to add for that?
This is actually the judge's item.
Oh, okay.
Counselor of the volume cap, can you explain what that means? Why are we retaining it?
A volume cap is it's actually a tax, a tax system in which the village can sell its ability to raise money tax-free, basically on the open market. And there was a time back a number of years ago when I first got here, and Rachel recalls, where the village was able to sell its allocation of tax caps, or I forget, its allocation of the ability to raise tax-free money. They were able to sell it to other entities who would then use it to develop property and buildings, et cetera. And I think we actually got a pretty good buck for the village, received pretty good money back then. Since then, the development has not been going on. I don't know what the other market other market factors are, but there hasn't been a market where the village could sell its tax cap. What happens is that the tax cap has to be used by a certain time in the year, and if it's not used by that particular time, which is right around now, then it goes away, it's lost. However, the village does have the ability, by passing a resolution, to extend the time in which that tax cap has validity. And we have done this, even though we haven't been marketing it for a number of years now, in the hopes that if the market does change between now and the end of the year, the village would still be able to market their allocation of tax caps and receive some money from them. As I said, in the prior years, this hasn't really occurred because the market never developed. But hope springs eternal, and so we're hoping that, that could change around.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 2, request authorization to purchase Allied World National Assurance Company excess liability insurance from Alliant Mesro Insurance Services for the policy term of May 1st, 2018 through January 1st, 2019 for a total fixed cost of $55,202.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Okay, do we have anything to add on that?
Sure.
Or explain?
Yeah, over the past 30 years, we've, the village has participated in the HELP pool for 3 consecutive 10-year terms. The pool, the current term expires May 1st. We were looking at creating a HELP 4 pool for another 10-year term, and there wasn't enough participation with the membership to make it viable. So therefore, that caused the village to go to the insurance market to replace that coverage, and that's what we did. I will note, though, that the premium that is in your pink reflects only 8 months of a 12-month premium. So the 12-month premium is actually around $82,000, and we expect that to be the same next year if the market conditions are about the same as they are now.
Trustee Stanton?
Why are we only doing 8 months instead of doing a year like we normally do?
Well, because our policies run from January 1st to January 1st, and this is starting May 1. So we're only really requesting 8 months of coverage until we get to January 1, and then we'll renew on January 1 for a 12-month program.
The HELP pool is going to cover us for the first 4 months, and that's
Right.
why we're looking for 8 months of insurance after the HELP coverage stops May 1.
Okay.
Trustee Mills?
How much is it costing us for that first 4 months with help?
Well, that was in our premium back from,
Right, we've already paid that in the premium we paid last year for the 12 months. Again, that's the budgeted amount of about $200,000 that we listed. But I think it's really important to note, it's such an extreme difference between what we're paying to help and what we're looking to pay in the open market. It's important to note 2 things, really. When we were with help, they allowed us, if we didn't have claims, we built up a reserve. And so we have money that we're going to get to take away when help completely dissolves. We'll have money to take away with us. That's not the case when you have, insurance in the open market. You don't get to take away money that you don't use. So I think it's important to note that. That was a benefit with help. Additionally, another benefit with help was it was 100% claim coverage. Every claim that went was covered. There were no exclusions that you probably often find with insurance coverage in the open market. So help was just the top-of-the-line insurance coverage that covered every single claim that reached that level. So I think it's important to note those 2 things are part of the reason why there was a cost difference.
If it was such a good benefit, why are other towns leaving it?
There's various reasons. Some of them have other alternatives that have come up that they're able to join. Others just are finding better pricing in the open market, like Ken has found, and they just can't afford the premiums anymore with help. So there's a variety of reasons why several members left. And once a few of them left, it just wasn't viable for the rest of us to stay.
No, that's understandable, because I'm sure it would have cost us more and more to stay in it.
right, and I mean, when we look at some of the reasons why some of them left, we think it's a little short-sighted because the market right now is
Yeah.
bearing the $80-some thousand. That could change dramatically. I think one of the reasons why HELP first started was because the commercial market skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And when municipalities got together to pool, they found a lot of advantages in doing that. We're going to look for similar type of pools that are out there that we might, as an option for us. Right now, we have to kind of bridge the gap with the commercial insurance, but we will be looking for other pools that we
Okay,
might be
so you've got
able-
another 8 months, then you can keep working on this.
Exactly.
Okay,
And
good.
even if we have to go commercial for another year.
Yeah.
For us to evaluate and find pools that might be acceptable to us. That's what we're going to be looking at, because for all the reasons Rachel just said, there's advantages to pooling with other municipalities for this excess insurance.
And
So
just for the benefit of those watching, this is an excess
it's an excess
policy.
liability coverage, right?
So,
Right.
yeah, okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, seeing no other questions, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 3, request acceptance of Finance Department monthly report.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have anything to add, Rachel?
Nothing to add today.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 4, request acceptance of Information System Department monthly report.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Anything to add? Nothing to add? Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 5, request acceptance of Sears Center monthly report.
So moved.
Second.
Hello? Do we have anything to add?
Blockbuster concert's coming, right?
Some blockbusters. Just finished the Windy City Bowl season, so if you weren't there on Saturday, you missed a good one. They won. We had a record 24 wins in a season, which I think is still losing season. Not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I think there's
Okay.
50 games in a season.
Yeah, they
so-
lost, they were 2 games under 500.
All right, we'll take it. Hey, progress.
It was progress.
It's only one way to go, but up. So we have Harvest Bible is celebrating their Easter celebration with us. So we have 2 services Friday, 2 services on Sunday, upwards of 40,000 people between the 2 days. So it will be an interesting traffic management plan. Let's hope it doesn't rain, which it's supposed to. And then April, we are completely sold out. So April, we have 10 different event days with 7 different clients. So we have football, cheerleading, 2 Indian shows, possibly a sold-out Chris Tomlin show, and then the last day of harvest on April 1st. So it should be exciting, and then we go right into circus in May, and then into a sold-out May with all the graduations, and then June is sold out as well. So we have nonstop. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We have 1 open weekend in June, so I was exaggerating.
Busy.
Yes, so my bad. We are on a breakneck pace, so we'll be interested to see how the budget year ends, because obviously everything's looking very good. If it keeps up like this, we might hit a record, so that's exciting. But yeah, very busy, which is excellent. So we're actually hiring more staff to accommodate the extra event dates and trying to just, figure out what dates need to be filled and filled them. But right now, it's looking very good. So,
That's good
any
news to
questions?
hear. Any questions?
Very good.
I do.
Just
Is there any way that we could get a notice of when these items, or when these functions are? Because I know I have a number of people, not a number, I've had a few people that say, oh, what's going on at the Sears Center, or what's going on next week, or something like that.
Yeah,
And
we have a weekly newsletter, so we'll sign all the trustees up for that. I think most of you probably are on that newsletter, but it comes out every week and it promotes
No.
all the events. You on that newsletter? No? Okay. So the newsletter is the best way to do that. And then the water bill stuffer that goes to all the households usually includes everything coming up for the next 2 months.
Oh,
But yeah, no, we'll definitely, the more we can promote, the better. So, but our website's also good,
Good, thank you.
and our Twitter and my Facebook. But yeah, busy stuff. Good,
Okay.
good momentum.
Sure you want to keep Facebook these days?
Yeah, no comment.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Good job. Seeing no other questions, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Any additional president's report?
Nothing else, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Nothing under other or items in review. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. We are adjourned.